But that won't last either.
Yeah, okay. No, it's this, because, you know, I found difficult to remain without anything. No? So I remain with this state of no thought, which is a state of, yeah, relative peace and, yeah, pretty acceptable. This is the only thing that I can achieve apart from all the roadside, the mess. So it's better to stay there, or this is might be tricky because then, yeah, it's a self-gratification. I don't know. It's tricky.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, take it.
Oh
You
yeah,
find-
well how can you not, I mean, there's no one that actually takes it, but what's wrong with gratification? You know, you can make love to a woman or not think or win the lottery, it's all passing pleasure.
So if I find this state pretty peaceful, boring, let's say, you know, okay, take it.
Well, you think you're taking it, and that's fine. If you think you're taking it, then take it. You'll discover one day that nobody ever takes gratification, but gratification happens.
Okay.
It's a passing thing.
Yeah, there is something that I am missing. When I will become a man, I will get it.
Now, when you don't become a man, you'll get it.
Yeah. That's the secret.
Yeah. When you said to me in the corridor, I'm jealous of you,
Yeah.
what you don't see is that I've lost everything, so how can you be jealous of me?
Enigma.
Enigma.
What to do with that urge wanting to do something?
There is nothing that can, there is no one that can do anything, but what can happen is seeing that there is an urge.
And that's it.
That's it.
Thank you.
The urge is this, seeing this is this, knowing this is the beginning of the end. The one that knows you're sitting there looking at me is the one, is nothing, knowing you're looking at me. And that can, well, it doesn't change, but what can happen in knowing that you think you are looking at me, or knowing that that thing there is looking at me, there can just be looking that can arise out of that.
When we talked before, before the coffee break, and just that sentence, oneness is seeking oneness. There was sadness coming in.
Yeah. There can be a sadness about, in a sense, whilst there's still a person, there can be a sadness about a sense of something lost or mislaid, and there can also be a sense of the whole world mislaying that, a sense of sadness about the world not seeing that all there is oneness. It's still in the story, but it happens. Right.
I forgot about the part of unconditional love. You talked before about it. So, first some recognition, some sadness with, you told about the desert, and then a certain kind of acceptance and then unconditional love?
Well, the nature of oneness is stillness, silence, impersonality, and the impersonal and unconditional. You could say those are values because they're all just words. And compassion, which is simply the destroyer of illusion. So you could say the nature, when there is no one, it is seen, the mind starts getting very tricky about this, it is seen that everything that's happening is the expression of unconditional love. Unconditional love. It's a way of trying to describe something that's not describable. So that unconditional love is all embracing. Of course, that unconditional love is also everything. So naturally, nothing is denied. There is nothing right or wrong. There is only what is, which is the appearance out of nothing of everything.
I experience resistance.
And the resistance is unconditional love arising as resistance.
Excuse me?
Resistance is unconditional love, oneness, arising as resistance. It's the resistance is it, not when there is no resistance, there it will be. Resistance is it, is aliveness, is oneness.
Thank you.
Okay.
So there's still the hope for blissfulness.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Blissfulness is one of the is a quality that people think arises with liberation.
It does sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. Or everything arises in liberation, but for no one. You have to be a bit careful with this, but the joy of liberation is nothing to do with blissfulness, anger, or anything that arises. It is to do with the utter boundlessness of being this. So it isn't because of anything. It is in spite of everything. It is It is simply the joy of being, whatever is. And it doesn't matter what's going on out there that apparently is, it's the joy of being. And bliss is one of the things that can arise and then pass away again. So it's constant. This is, this guy here was talking about peace, the state of peace. Liberation is not a state. It is that which is constant. That's all there is. There is only liberation. There is only liberation. There is only oneness. So
So you are not only the most boring, but also the most disappointing.
Yes. Oh no, absolutely. That's a compliment. That's good. This is about disappointment. The mind, more and more the mind comes here, the more disappointed the mind becomes. It tries to destroy this, or it tries to devalue it, or it tries to avoid it. And it goes on, coming and trying to do that, and in the end it sort of says, oh, fuck this, I'll kill you. And, oh,